Well, I got rejected and I'm at peace with it. Yep, that's a real story in a real moment that's going on in my life right now. Y'all, welcome back to the podcast. I wanted to jump on here super quick today for a conversation about turning rejection into positivity. I think it's a powerful tool that we can all put in place in our life. So I thought I would just be real honest with you because that's what we do and just chat about all things rejection, if you will. Here's what happened. I applied for a leadership opportunity and I put a ton of hard work into this. Recently, I crafted a resume, and for reference, I have not updated my resume in almost 15 years. So, like putting a resume together is a whole thing, but putting a resume together of 15 years worth of work, especially when it's been mostly small business work, is just a different mindset. So I put all of that together, I styled it, and then I also put together a video presentation, if you will, to talk about my accomplishments and why I felt like that I was right for this position. I also called on friends that I knew for references. I had the whole package, I thought, together, and I was super excited to turn this in and felt really good about it. And I've been waiting anxiously for weeks on the callback and finally got an email late last night, and they said no. They said it wasn't a right fit. And my first reaction was not positivity. My first reaction was that of just disappointment. And I sat with it for a second, and then I got up and I went into the living room and I told my husband, and he was incredibly comforting and said something that helped me completely turn my thought process around. He said, "Remember, you didn't get into all of your shows right away. For some of these big shows that I've gotten into for markets, it took a couple of tries before I finally was accepted. And I kept going. I kept pushing forward. And those words were what I exactly needed to hear in the moment. It was a great reminder for me to reframe my thinking and reflect on the bigger picture. Instead of getting stuck in the disappointment, I asked myself, what is this rejection teaching me? What is the universe holding open for me in this space of time that I thought I would be filling with something else, right? That's a whole thought like that. What else could be coming for me? What better opportunity is ahead that I don't even know about yet? Or maybe just a moment. There could be something else on the horizon that is an even better fit for me or is where I'm meant to be. Or completely on a separate note, maybe this is telling for me to take a moment to rest. Because let's be real, I'm about to head out for 3 weeks on the road for shows and a conference. And the thought of coming home from that and then turning around and getting back onto a plane right away has been a bit overwhelming for me. So maybe this rejection is a sign that I need to take a little break to recharge, right? Because as busy people, and I think that so many of you that listen to this podcast, we are of the same mindset, right? We just kind of go, 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 go. And we give and we do everything for so many people, and we don't often take that time for ourselves. If you are like me, sometimes you have to be forced into that situation to take the time. Heaven forbid it's some sort of injury or a sickness, but you're forced to have to take a moment to take a nap or to take a breath or something. So maybe this is a way that is telling me that it's time to take a moment. The silver lining, though, also is that now that my resume is updated, and I've built all this experience, I'm ready for that next opportunity when it comes my way. I might have been scared before to go after bigger things because I didn't feel prepared, because I didn't apply for maybe a speaking engagement or something else because they were going to ask for all this information and I didn't have it ready. But now I have the proof and the confidence to take on whatever else comes my way. Rejection doesn't have to feel as scary when you know you've done the work and you're ready to step up, right? Let that sink in for just a second. It doesn't have to be as scary when you know you've done the work. When I was talking with my therapist recently and we were having a conversation, and I mentioned that I was feeling a bit of imposter syndrome because I was stepping into this new, bigger market opportunity that I'm about to head out on the road for. But the truth of the matter is I've already done big things in my life. I've been at large shows. I've performed well there and have done a great job. So even though I haven't been to this venue, I don't need to be that scared. I've already done the scary things to even try. But what I think I know for myself, I do, and I think that there's many of you as well that are the same. I tend to forget when I'm so caught up in the right now, what's ahead of me, to pause and remember the achievements from the past instead of just constantly looking forward. What I mean by this is, like, instead of getting so wound up about this rejection, thinking about what I have accomplished so that I remember that and I can still be proud of myself. This was a tip I heard from Jen Gottlieb, and I may not get it completely right, but she talked about putting together your badass moment list, and you take like top 20 things that you do or have done in your life that you are super proud of, whether it's getting a promotion or speaking on a stage or whatever those highlight moments are in life. Maybe getting the lead in your concert back in high school choir, whatever it can span whatever in your lifetime. But write those down, maybe keep it in a note so that when you're faced with these moments of rejection or these tough times, you can refer back to these highlights in your life when you've just simply crushed it and remind yourself, like, yes, I've done some amazing things. I should be proud of what I'm doing. This wasn't my opportunity. What's next? Because I am great. And here's proof of why I'm great. We can't get everything in life, unfortunately. We can get a lot of things and do our best, but maybe not everything. And as a people pleaser, I have to remind myself too that just because this didn't work out doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean that I have failed. This wasn't the right opportunity. I am still great. People still enjoy me, enjoy my company. So this doesn't have to be the end all be all. So if you're curious about that, maybe start your own list. If 20 seems overwhelming, start with like 10 moments that you've done in your lifetime. But have that as a resource to remind yourself and reflect upon when some sort of rejection heads your way, because it's going to head your way. Let's be honest. We're always going to be seeking that next adventure, seeking that next promotion, seeking that next opportunity, and it may not go our way, but it may lead you to something even more beautiful if you open your mind to that. So I hope that is helpful. I hope that helps you kind of reframe your mindset as it did for me. If you gained anything out of it, if you would leave a comment or please rate and review this podcast so that I know that this is reaching you and that I know that it is helpful. As I mentioned, I am heading out on the road for a few weeks for a big spring market show here in Texas. So if you're curious about what life is like as a small business artist on the road, make sure you go over and follow Brushstrokes Pottery on Instagram. You can see all the behind the scenes, and then keep your eye out for some exciting interviews that I have lined up once I am back in the studio with some amazing artists from all over. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love and strength on whatever journey you are on right now. And I hope that it is one full of joy and just so much happiness. Until next time, stay creative. Thank you so much for listening to the show this week. Please make sure to click the follow button on your podcast app so you never miss a new episode of the show. And remember, if you want to nominate a small business artist for an upcoming episode, send an email to the address listed in show notes and let me know all about them. Until next time, stay creative.